Hello, 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 everybody. I hope that your week is off to an amazing start. My week has been off to a busy start. Whenever you're an entrepreneur and you take off for a couple of days, everything backs up. And so, as you guys all know, I posted on my social media, I had to fly home. We lost the matriarch of my family, my Aunt Clarice, who was 95 years old. And so I took 9 days off to go and to plan her funeral and honor her. And so I'm back now. And I just want to start off by saying thank you guys so much for all your love, all your posts, all your, condolences. I am truly appreciate each and every last one of you guys that thought enough of me to send me an inbox or, post on my thing because it was really, really rough for me. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Do me a favor, make sure that you're putting in the chat where you're joining me from. If you're watching me here on Facebook, please put in the chat where you're joining me from. If you're watching me from my YouTube channel, welcome. I appreciate you so much. And so, again, I just wanted to tell you guys thank you so much for all the love. It was a very rough 9 days for me in Texas because, like I said, I lost, the matriarch of my family. And so it was really rough. But all your love and all your condolences really helped me and my brother and my family out. So I appreciate you guys. And again, it is Tuesday. And you know what goes down here on Tuesday. Wife Chat goes down here on Tuesday. So do me a huge, huge favor. Make sure that you're hitting the share button and letting all my 160 wives know that we're going down. Hi, Sea Beach from Georgia. All right. How are you? How are you? Hi, Nash from Philadelphia. I appreciate you. Quentin. I appreciate you for joining me. I appreciate you for watching me, you guys on my YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys over there. And I don't take you for granted. I appreciate you. And so tonight's chat comes from a wife in Hanford, California. She has been married 5 years and she came into my inbox, and I think it's perfect timing. How do you deal with toxic family members during the holidays? And let me just tell you, I have been so consumed. I did not realize that Thanksgiving is actually next week. That is mind blowing to me. It's like this year has just flown by, and we all have someone in our family that is toxic and that is always stirring the pot, always causing problems, always doing this kind of thing. So I hit the young lady back up and I asked her, I said, so what kind of toxic things have happened in the past? And basically, she told me she's been married to her husband 5 years, and that his family, his sisters, his two sisters, and his mother has never liked her. But she has a very little family in the United States because she's from Mexico, and that she relies heavily on her husband and going to his family's house during the holidays. And so she was saying that they just don't like her, and so therefore is a very uncomfortable situation, and she does not like to go over there, but his whole entire family gets together, and it's been their tradition since he was a kid, and she does not want to stop her husband from doing that. But again, it's not a comfortable situation for her. Now, this is a very hard one because it's very difficult for me to tell her to go to someone, just go over to her family's house and split, him going over there and then, her going with her family because she does not have family here in the United States. I did come back and ask her, did she have any friends that she could go over to their house and spend time with them? And she said she had very little friends here as well, and none of them had invited her to their homes, and she's not going to invite herself, which I understand that as well. So let me give you guys, if you're dealing with toxic family members that you have to interact with over the holidays, which all of us have had to do it, all of us has had to, act like adults and engage with people that we truly don't care for. And it makes it very hard, especially if your spouse is very close with those particular family members, i.e., like a mother or a father or a sister or siblings. That makes it very, very difficult. And so let me give you some practical advice, because like I said, everybody has dealt with this in some form and fashion. If it's not a family member, it's a close, friend that always shows up, and it becomes a disaster, and it can become a huge disaster. So let me just give you some things to think about. The first thing is to keep the holiday in perspective. When we look at Thanksgiving, we're looking at Thanksgiving as a way to be grateful for what we have been blessed with. So when I look at Thanksgiving, even though, I have been put in situations where I have been, on Gail's side of the family, and there has been some drama, and vice versa. There's been drama with him and some of, the people in my family in the past. We have to put it into perspective and just say that we're so grateful that we're still here, because so many people in the last 2 years have lost their lives to COVID. So many people are going on to glory. Like I just said, my aunt just passed away on October the 31st. So just look at the day as being grateful, not at the people, but just being grateful to be present, to be alive, and to be accounted for. Because a lot of times we always go to the negative and not look at the positive, that you're still here and that you still have an opportunity to make amends with that family, that or those members, or the person that you're having an altercation with, or you guys just don't get along. That's the first thing. The second thing is, uh when if the situation gets tense, I always say that you have the ability to remove yourself from the situation. You don't have to engage with negativity, right? If they're in the kitchen, cooking or whatever, my thing is always offer, right? Hello, everybody. Do you need any of my help? Even if you don't get along with them, if they want you to chop up onions, chop up onions, whatever that looks like, just so they won't say that you did not engage, that you did not offer, that you just came and sat and ate, and they did all the work or whatever, because I've been in that situation before. So at least offer. If they say, no, we don't need any of your help, remove yourself from the situation and go engage where there's a much more pleasant environment, in another room, or with other family members that you don't have any tension with those family members, right? Yeah, you're right, Cameron. It is time to be grateful. I'm grateful just to be alive and know what day it is, and have movement and health and strength in the movement of my limbs. So I am so grateful. So you don't have to, like I said, be in a situation where you put yourself where you feel stuck. You have the ability to remove yourself from that situation. The next thing I really want you guys to focus in is that you and your spouse need to be united. Do not go over there and expect your spouse, especially if it's their family, to ignore them, or to choose you, and to put them in a situation where you guys are bickering back and forth on whose side that he or she should be on, right? Before you go over there, have a conversation and say, listen, I'm going to go over here because this is your family. I want to be engaged with your family. You know that your mom and your sisters, I know you don't like me. So don't put me in a situation where, I have to make you choose between them and me. I don't want to do that. So be a united front going over there. Discuss all the good, the bad, and the ugly that can happen, but make sure that you and your spouse don't leave there arguing and fussing and giving them more ammunition not to like you, right? So have a adult conversation with your spouse and let them know how this situation makes you feel, and you guys hash it out and be a united front in front of his or her family, because that's the worst thing that can happen, is that you guys have a big blowout, and then the people that is already at, already don't like you, get more ammunition to keep it going. Okay. And number 5, stay away from touchy subjects that bring out the worst in people. And some of these touchy subjects that bring out the worst in people is, one, talking about other family members or other friends. 2, politics is a huge one that can break up a family. 3 is religion, is another thing that can break up a family. And 4 is discipline and talking about other people's children. Those are some of the biggest things that can set people off and to tear it up, and to cause chaos in a family setting that's supposed to be something that brings you guys together and that unites you guys as a family. Those 4 things, I'm telling you, can set it off, because I have been in every last one of those situations, especially when you talking to somebody else's kid and trying to get them to, sit down or be disciplined. And then they're like, that's my child, you don't talk to my child. And it just becomes a thing, right? That's one thing, especially now with our climate when it comes to politics and what's going on with the House and the Senate and all the stuff that we have going on in the United States. Stay off that subject, because it's going to always lead to something and a conversation that you don't want to engage in, because everybody has an opinion and everybody is going to fight for their opponent. Okay. And then another thing to stay away from is religion. Because if you are Christian and they don't think you are a super Christian like they are, that's a problem. If you have an opinion on about what's going on with God's people and they disagree, that's a problem. So I'm trying to get you to avoid all of these 4 topics that usually send people over the edge. The next thing that I would suggest, it's nothing wrong with having a drink or two, but do not get intoxicated, because that also fuels how people view you, right? Because a lot of times when people get intoxicated, they go to a whole nother level and they don't know when to turn it off. And this creates chaos, because then they will say that you're the drunk of the family and that you say inappropriate things, or your behavior becomes very aggressive during the time that the family is supposed to be united. Okay. And so for this young lady, I know she feels like she's in, between a rock and a hard place, being that she is from another country and that this has been a tradition in his family for a long time. And she really feels that they dislike her and that she needs to engage with them. But my prayer is that these kind of things really, really are make you aware that your behavior you have control over. You cannot control other adults. You can't control other people's thoughts about you. The only thing that you can control is yourself and how you react and how you show up. And my last thing is just make sure that you and your spouse are solid before you go over there, so that way it will not cause any conflict when you get back home and you're feeling like your spouse didn't protect you or say enough or do enough. Have the conversation, be a united front before you go out there, if that's the part of what the chaos is going on in your family. Okay. And so my prayer is that this helps somebody. I will be on here on Tuesday before Thanksgiving. If you guys have any questions that you want me to answer, no question is off limit. I will always email you or message you, however you send me your request back, and let you know when I will be answering your questions so you can be on. I will never, 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 ever say your name or anything like that. All I would need from you is your question and where you're located. You said, what about job? What, I'm not understanding. What about job, Quentin? What do you mean, and what about job? I'm not understanding that question. So if you can elaborate a little bit, I will be happy to help you or answer that whatever the question is. And so again, you guys, thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining me here on my Facebook page. Just to let you ladies know, I will be running a Black Friday special for my BSB Conference 2023 that's going to be going down in January. It will be a 2-day special, and that's it. So if you're thinking about coming, look out for the special on next Friday, and you're not going to want to miss it. How much money a person makes? What is how much a money person makes? What does that have to do with how to deal with toxic family members? I'm not really sure how that relates to what we're talking about. I'm just not really sure, Quentin, what you're asking me to talk about, because it doesn't relate to anything that I am talking about. So I'm not really sure. But anyway, if there's no other questions that I need to answer, I love you guys to pieces. Please make sure that you share this live. Or any comments that you have, I always go back, even though when I get off here, I always go back, and I always will like or answer any of your questions that you might have. Okay, you guys have an amazing, amazing, amazing night.